It is John the Net Guy. Today's show 422. This is your Black Friday Power Up Tech Stream. So, what does that mean? Well, we got a ton of products today, 9 in fact, that are all going to help you out here this winter, maybe into next year. Got products for power, got products for safety, and I've even got products for your RV. I kind of mix a little of both. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat here and make sure that I'm the only one talking here. Hey, I already see some people. Blind Tech, welcome. He says, yo, he always gets the first message in. If you haven't checked him out on YouTube, Blind Tech is the channel, recently rebranded, but another great creator here. Thanks for showing up, and let me know if I sound correct or good or whatever you want to call it. I also have to come back here and hit the start streaming button behind me. This is going to let the Amazonians in. If you guys have watched the show before, you know how this works. I'm going to hit preview. And if the stream data is going to where the stream data needs to go, yes, I have to hit yes, start streaming. If everything is working, then I can hit the go live button on this and we'll be ready to go and it'll be a flawless stream. Knock on teak. It was looking like it's working. So here we go, going live on Amazon. We'll let the Amazonians in. The other thing I wanted to say is if you are looking for any of the deals that are getting shown here on the screen, it's going to be scrolling across the bottom now. So if you visit that web page, and I'm going to bring it up here in my handy dandy Edge browser, I'll show you what you see. 1 second. So if you were to pull this up, you would see something that looks similar to this. You'll actually see me live streaming there here in a little bit. If you go over here to this, what looks like a plug, this is for show number 422, the Black Friday Tech Power Up Show. Showing you all the products that I'm going to show you today. Some pretty neat stuff here. I do have an order that I'm going to go in, but if you want me to dig into any one of the products specifically that maybe interests you more, or if you have questions, it's a completely interactive show. And feel free to just throw them in the chat here. We already got some people. Got a lot of people. Randy, he's joined in from the YouTube side. Hello, live guy. I am live. Thank you so much. It's been a while. And if I'm too loud, I see my audio peaking over there. If I'm too loud, I get a little excited. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and hopefully that levels out. I'm going to go grab our first product, and this is actually one that's already in the scene right now. They sent me 2 of these, and this is actually from the Alpha Tech company. Show you here up on the close camera if I still remember how to do this. This is a clock. Now, what's so special about a digital clock? Well, this one works with your phone and it has a spy camera right in the middle of it. I technically have one running over here. It's running in the background. So maybe you've got a few relatives coming over this year. Maybe you're not 100% trusting of them, or maybe you just want to have a little bit more security in your house, but you don't want it to be super obvious. This is a really great option. I'm going to do an unboxing of it for you right now, but I do have to pick it on the Amazon and then say, hello, Amazonians. Happy Black Friday early. And I'll send that out to them. Now, like I said, this does work with your smartphone. I'm going to do a quick unbox of it. We're going to go on to the top camera. So you can see it's a pretty straightforward clock, which is nice, always nice to have. It's attractive, it looks good, clean numbers. But the secret is what you'll see inside of it. I'm going to go ahead and take the shrink wrap off of this one. This is a brand new unit, so you're going to get to see exactly how to set it up. It does have a tilt adjustable stand. You can plug it in. It's got adjustable brightness and USB Type-C. Now, I have to tell you here, no sound recording. So hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to get you right up on it so you can see it. This was actually a product that they sent out earlier as well, and I did another show on it. It's a great product. That one had an option to enable sound. There is no sound recording available in this. So I'm going to cut your questions off a little bit early if you're saying, well, if my jurisdiction allows me to record sound, can I do that? And that's just an Amazon policy now. They, across the board, do not allow things that don't look like cameras to record sound. So it's going to have some setup information. I can't, unfortunately, show you the QR code on that. It's going to have a pretty good manual. I'm going to show you how to set it up quickly today, though. You won't need to go through that as much if you just follow along here. It does come with a cord, a cleaner for the lens there, and a power adapter. So here we go. There's also the base here. Now, a couple things. they did. It looks like the base is a little bit more adjustable, a little more techy. I guess it's not too bad here, but I almost would like a fixed stand or something that didn't look like they put so much money into it. I like the idea that this is kind of a, you know, an informal clock that you would have. So there's that. Inside of here, we have the actual clock unit. Now I'm going to take the QR code stickers off because I just can't show those on Amazon. They get, my editor has to blank every one of them out, and it's such a pain. So I'm going to take that sticker off, but there is a sticker for some warranty information. It does have a 5-year extended warranty that you can get for it. So that's pretty cool. So overall, there is the clock. Now, you might be going, well, where's the camera? Now, if you look super carefully, I'm going to tilt it until the light hits it. I can't really do it. The camera is right there. I can see the lens in person just like a different shade of gray, but if you're looking on the stream super carefully, you may not even be able to see it. It is just that so subtle. Now, one of the questions I always get on these is, do they support night vision? Now, in the manual, if you read it, it does talk about that. They didn't want to put IR emitting LEDs for night vision because that's how you can actually use those spy camera detectors to detect this. This is only going to be receiving information. So that's one aspect of it. Second thing I would say is taking the back off is a little bit hard. I've done that a couple times on the other one. It's getting better, but you really have to get in here. And I think that's a good thing. So people may not suspect that this is a smart camera, but the way you do it, you take the back off like this, and that gets you to the smarts. So now you got a reset button, an on-off switch, your trans flash or micro SD holder there, and you have your Type-C. It doesn't come with a memory card, but these things are a dime a dozen, so hopefully you guys can grab one. And we're going to go ahead and plug this thing in and fire it up, and you're going to get to see what's involved in setting it up. And through the miracle of wires and cables and how I've set up my studio, you're going to get to see the whole setup process live here. So thanks for joining in. If you haven't already, do me a big favor if you could. Can you share this with your friends on either Facebook or X, or if you're on a Discord, say, hey, I'm watching this really cool spy camera from this guy with a big beard. That would be really helpful for me. Now, I'm not going to put the back cover on it just because I want to show you how this plugs in. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in like that, and instantly you've got a clock with zeros. Now, if you look real carefully, there's a red light there. I'm going to go through the steps on how to set this up. If you push and hold that, that red light is going to turn into a purple light, and it's going to blink. It takes about 5 seconds, if I remember right. Could still be booting up. There we go. Oh, well, then the light just went out on me. So I'm going to take you over to the app here. And this is my phone. And the app is called Tuya Smart. So I was actually playing with one earlier, but I'm going to come all the way back out. So my office security camera, I can give you a demo of this right now, and I can show you what it actually looks like because I've already set the other one up here in the corner. So you can see my hand waving. You can see the other not so pretty side of my office here. I'm going to flip it sideways so you can see everything going on. You can see the delay on it. If I put my hand out, it's like half a second or less. Again, no audio capability. I can make a recording of it. I can zoom in to specific. So I have a thing called a multi-view, if you guys didn't know. That's how I see all my different things. Resolution and picture quality. Let's see what we can do about that. So I've got SD mode and I've got HD mode. So it's a little bit better. My studio is really bright, so I get a lot of contrast, but I want to do a couple more tests here before I say, you know, yay or nay on this one. Let me see if I can put it side by side so you can see me here. Okay. And let me see if I can set this up for you guys. DVE2 is that guy. Okay, so there you go. So you can see me now with this. The camera in front, $2,000. This camera, $69 on Amazon. So you're not going to get quite the same crispness and all that. But again, pretty accurate, fast picture here. If you do want to actually use this, you can go in here and use it to motion detect record. You can have it alert you if somebody's coming in. So if I come down in here, these are all the functions. And I actually kind of like the way that they've done the menu. The basic information is there. The display settings are there. Alarm settings are here. So if I turn the alarm on, what's going to happen is if I move, and it may even do this, I don't know how quickly it's going to do it. If I'm outside of the app, And if I move, it'll actually throw an alert through the top. I think I actually had one right here, motion detection now. So there's the motion detection events within the Tuya Smart app. So it's showing that that's what's going on. I'm going to show you a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to set this up here. So if we come back to the main camera here, oh man, thank you so much, Blind Tech. He reposted me on X to let other people know that the show is going on right now. I see a bunch of you guys are flooding in, so there are some people watching. I appreciate that. So this is the secret spy camera that we're looking at right now. It says it's 002 a.m. So I think we need to configure it. But what I was doing, it's blue in the back here and it's blinking. There are two ways to set this camera up. So you can see that little blue one here. I'm going to hold the reset button down and wait till it turns purple. There we go. So it's going between red and blue, which kind of gives you this purple look. So I've done that part. Now we're going to go back over to the app. I'm going to show you how easy this thing is to set up, because it really is easy. So there's my other motion camera is really going to annoy us if I don't turn the motion detection off, because it's going to let us know every single time. It also does have a schedule, so we can, maybe you're not in your home office and you just want to have one of these in your home office like me. So you can set a schedule on that. I'm going to go to add device here. Now, this is very common. There's a ton of different products, but we're going to go here to where it says Smart Camera 2.45 gigahertz, because this one also handles the 5 gigahertz range. That's another thing that a lot of the Wyze cameras and everything don't. There is my guest network here, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to confirm and proceed, and now I have a QR code. So how am I going to train the camera? Well, very easily, I'm just going to point the QR code at it. I'm going to back up a couple times. Now, the camera does not have a speaker, so if it's connecting, it won't know. But I'm going to say I heard a prompt here on the UI and the app. Now, at the bottom of the app, you're going to see a little line, and that's saying that it's scanning for devices, registering to the cloud, so it's got it already, and then it's initializing the device. So it's actually already set the time over here on the device. I'll show you here in a second, but I can rename this, and we're going to say this is the clock camera. Now, what does this tell you about going into hotel rooms? Maybe foreign. You just see a standard clock here, and what do you know? It's John's secret spy camera. So there you go. You're seeing the live immediate feed right out of this thing in my studio. You can see I've reviewed a ton of IP cameras. You know, is the quality amazing? You know, this is a hidden camera on a multifunction item here. I'm going to take you guys over just so you can again see. Can you see the camera in there? It literally is right there, and you know, you can barely see a difference, and especially when it's on. Now, there is a button on top. You can change the brightness down. So if you want to change that, if you hold it down, the camera goes off completely, and then it just looks like a clock that's on the shelf that's off. So maybe you put this in your garage, your shop somewhere. Looks like a dead camera, not on, but guess what? If we go back over to my phone, it is still broadcasting. So very cool product to kick off the show today. That is the Spy Camera from Alphatec. Now, these guys make a ton of other stuff. I've shown you their products before. This is another neat product. This is their IQ charger. This is a spy camera in a phone charger, and they've got multiple versions, some that are online, some that are Wi-Fi, some that are offline, but a lot of really, really cool products. Let's take a look here at the questions. Does it reset the time if your house power cycles? Well, that's a great lead in to some of our other products. I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest. We just had that bomb cyclone you guys probably heard about. Trees were down everywhere. It was a big mess, and we'll see. Let's check and look at the power here for our friend Blind Tech, and we're gonna back out of the thing. So again, there's the unit right now. If I unplug it, obviously the power goes out, it goes away. If I plug it back in, let's see how fast this thing boots up. So it's on 000. Let's see if it connects to my Wi-Fi, how quickly it gets its time synchronized. That's a great question, Jonathan there. Thank you so much for that. Well, we'll see. Let's put it over here in the corner while I'm boxing it up. You guys can still see it. Still saying 000 over there. Just has to get on the Wi-Fi, and then it should have the number that it needs. That's a great question. I didn't even think to ask that. But I'll do some more testing. I'll do it in a better lighting scenario so we can see. There's the number. So it did get the time off whatever the NHTSA. I never set the time, so it's obviously got a time synchronization capability built into it. So that's good. Blind Tech says, during hurricane season in Florida, you get power cycles when the hurricane makes landfall. Yes, you guys just went through a couple big doozies. So very cool to see that it does set its time automatically. So that's something else you don't have to deal with. So that is from Alpha Tech. We're going to scoot right along again. Lots of products to show you guys today. And the next one, you know, I took this out earlier and then I realized that I hadn't charged this thing up. I had actually let it get completely discharged. I want to take a quick look at it and see where we're at because it's a really fun product. And, you know, I'm going to let it keep going for a while and then we're going to come back to it. The next product is a power related product though. So I'll give you that. Take one quick break here. And I'm just looking at the chats, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me know what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving. Are you traveling for Thanksgiving? This is like the busiest travel week of the year. And I'd love to know that. I'm doing a show a little bit later this week. We're going to do all sorts of fun stuff. And maybe I can tailor it to you if you're looking for some travel tech, or maybe you're just looking for some great deals because there's a lot to be had. So the next product coming up here on the show is from BN Link. Now, these guys reached out to me and they said, hey, can you take a look at our 24-hour heavy-duty mechanical timer? And I said, absolutely. You know, I love tech of all kinds. I'll take a look at this. This is like the old timers that you used to have. Now, what's funny about this is kind of a new twist. They've updated it a little bit. It's a little bit easier to use, in my opinion. And it's super affordable. I think the price right now is $6.79. Polarized plug. My mom was trying to hook a heater up and we went over to her place and it didn't have a polarized plug on hers. She had one similar to this. It was very old. So this one, I want to talk to you about ratings. That's one of the biggest things on here. So the ratings, and I'll read them off to you. It's rated for 15 amps of resistive load, 1,875 watts. Or 8 amps of tungsten load or a half horsepower motor. So this thing is rated for running your heaters. It is running motors. You can put your coffee pot on this. You can put your toaster on it. It has all those capabilities. The really neat thing about setting this is the ability to do very short interval marks there. So you can see that you have these little push in, pull up. And those are what sets the time. Now, as you set the original time, this can't be easier. You don't even need a smartphone. You don't need anything. You literally just take that knob and you set it to whatever time it currently is. So right now we see it's 5:20 p.m. I go over to the 5:20 and I'm set. Now, if I have it pushed up or down, that sets it on or off. And then additionally, you can just push this side lever up if you need to override it. Now, what could this be useful for? I've seen people use this for a chicken coop heater because sometimes you want them off during the day, but you want them on at night. You can set that just by setting the times here. Maybe you want to have an interval and every 30 minutes you want it to do something. Instead of getting a smart plug that requires Wi-Fi, some of those smart plugs, by the way, when Wi-Fi goes out or the range isn't quite there, they quit working. So this thing will work because it's analog. It plugs into a regular old outlet, and it is going to allow you to run those very large loads. So that is, again, from BN Link. I'm going to take a quick look and see what else they include. Basic manual here. Now, is it UL listed? That's a big important thing usually. It is ETL listed, which is the alternative. It's a little bit cheaper to license. I've seen a lot more products being ETL listed for safety. But it does have a rating on here. And then we talked about the actual ratings here. So 1,875 watts. That's enormous. So if you've got a 1,500 watt space heater, conceptually, don't take my word for it, but conceptually you could run it off of this. Lighting, heating systems, they call that out. Nebulizers, cooling, sprinklers, aquariums. And there you go. And then it talks about if the pins are down, it is on. If the pins are up, it is off. So as you're setting this, you can see they're in an up or a down position. Very easy to set. So if you push them down, that's when you want the item to be on. And if you push them up, that's when you want it to be off. So you can't get any easier than that to use. And at $6.79, Talk about having fun with your Christmas tree. If you want to have a timer on your Christmas tree, now you can't use this outdoor, but if you do have a cord coming into your house, you can use this indoor to run outdoor lights. The 1800 watt load is going to be perfect for any kind of lights that you want. We're gonna save this. We'll have some fun because we've got some lights coming up here. So that is from BN Link. I want to thank them for sending that out for a fair and honest review. I did test it a little bit earlier. The thing works just fine. We're going to test it again here with some more products. Taking a look at our Amazon folks and seeing if they're writing anything. We're going to pick on the next product, which actually came from a company called Wavelink. Now I feel bad. They sent this a little bit of time ago. I told them I'm going to bring it up this week. I wanted to show it. I tested it out, and I actually have B-roll that I can go to of that. But this is a very unique product. I've seen Wi-Fi extenders in the past, and they're very hard and cumbersome to set up. They have limitations. They're slow. Like one of my favorites was the TP-Link N200 or N300, but it's super slow. This is going to be your Wi-Fi 6, 3000 megabytes per second, or megabits, I guess you should say. It looks like it supports all WPA3, WPA2. It has MU-MIMO and OFDMA technology. So what does that mean? Multi-in, multi-out. So if you have multiple users in your house, multiple devices, they can talk at the same time. It looks like on the 2.4 band, it is 73 megabits. I'll just bring this up for you guys so you can read along with me. So it's going to be 573 megabits. On the 5G band, it's the 2400, and then aggregate is 2975. So they're rounding up. But this would actually work across multiple bands. So if your device also has the MIMO antennas, you're going to get that. You're not going to necessarily get that as line speed on the internet, obviously, but I've done some testing here, and this thing works really well. I see some friends of the channel check it in, Doug and Nikki, also some great Amazon folks. Hey, that guy is live. What's your favorite pick for Black Friday? Well, I'm going to do a show on Black Friday. I hate to give away the bag here, but Scepter has a 34-inch ultra wide that I might just buy for myself because it's so cheap. They've got a bunch of cool monitor deals. I've been a big monitor nut. I've got monitors all over the place, but it's hard for me to say no to a monitor. So thanks for asking the question, Doug and Nikki. I think that's what I got here. And honestly, I hope there are no poor spots, so smart plug can work. Yeah, so Jonathan was saying that his home has no poor spots, so a smart plug can work for the indoor plugs. That sounds good. But yeah, again, the nice thing about that analog one is you can override it with a switch. You don't need to find your phone, and you can set intervals really quickly on it, and you don't have to do that. Some smart plugs make it really hard to set interval timings, but we can deal with that later. This is from, again, Wavelink. So this is their 3000 megabit dual band Wi-Fi mesh extender and access point. So what does that mean? Well, a mesh system, if you had multiples of these, 1, 2, 3 of these, you can blanket your home in Wi-Fi, and this will work with your existing router. So if you've got a really cool Asus router or something, we call them the dead spiders because they got their legs all sticking up. But if you've got a really cool router or something like that, they can work with those, and then they can extend themselves to be a mesh system. I'm going to go through the apps so you're going to see that. We're going to do a quick unbox. Oh, why don't I just show you here? Obviously, mesh extender mode, you can put this in between your router and your devices. I always recommend, if you've got a large house and maybe your router's on one side of the house, put this halfway between where your other devices are. Don't put it all the way on the other side of the house, then complain it doesn't work. So put it halfway in between if you're just using it as a repeater. Basically, it's a mesh extender. You can do that. If it's in router mode, meaning that you actually have a hard line somewhere in your house to another outlet, and you can plug it in, get it as far to the other side of the house as you can, and then you have signal coming from both sides. If you're just having it in straight repeater mode, it can work wirelessly. And if you want to have the access point in this, maybe you've got an older router, or maybe you've got a cable modem that came from your provider, but you want to have your own routing capability, you don't even need a router because this can act as that. So it's kind of 4 devices in one. We'll do the quick unbox here. I love all the antennas. They do actually function and make a difference. You do have polarization when it comes to antennas, so being able to turn them in different directions. If you plug this thing in flat onto an outlet strip, maybe, arrange the antennas upward. If it's on a wall, try to arrange them out like this or so. So I'm going to show you guys on the side camera here. So try to arrange them out like this. You could even have them like this and that. That changes your polarization. So if your phone is upright or flat, that changes polarization. Green checks in and said, did somebody say Scepter? Yes, for Black Friday I did. Good to see you, Green. I know he's a big fan of those guys as well. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in on my bench here, and then we're going to follow the setup guide. It literally couldn't be easier to set up. So we're going to go back to the cell phone because that's the trick here on how to set this up. So as it's booting up, I'm just going to go into, give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I've got the right settings. Okay, so I'm on a Wi-Fi right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for this device's Wi-Fi. So it's coming up and the color on it is purple on my desk here. So we will eventually see, I'm going to look at the quick start guide and double check, but we will eventually see an access point pop up with a different name. And that's the Wavelink access point. So when that pops up, we're actually going to be able to connect to it. And then we're going to be able to do all of the setup, whether you have a phone or you have a desktop computer, you can do it all. So now you see Wavelink guest popped up. So there we go. And then you see the Wavelink AX, whichever, and that's the one I want to click on. So that's going to get me connected to Wavelink. Now, I don't remember if it actually does do the routerlogin.net feature, but there we go. Look at that. So it immediately from my phone brings me to the setup page. So I could send this to my folks. I could send it to somebody else, and it makes it just that easy to set up. If I go begin configuration, I can set my country and region. I just happen to be in the Pacific Northwest, so Pacific time. I'll hit next. Oh, gotta pick my country. Next. Those actually do mean something when it comes to Wi-Fi range and power settings and all that. Blind text checking in. He says, I love this. It's like a bug with 4 legs. Yes, it is. It has the 4 little antennas that stick up. We're going to give this a full test here. So I'm actually going to use it in repeater mode right now. So what it's doing is it's scanning and it's looking at my network and it's finding all of the access points around my house. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up, and this is how quickly you can set it up if you have an existing Wi-Fi network. You can put this halfway to your other network. I know that my Loki net is my untrusted network because we don't trust Loki. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1 is my password. I'm going to hit next. Now, it comes up with a cool set of options here. And I know it may be hard to read. I don't think I can make it, unfortunately, bigger. And it says, set this up as a new network. So this device can have its own separate network and you can be new, or copy those Wi-Fi settings and just set it up as a duplicate network. And I'm actually going to set it up as a new one just so we know we're connected to the right one. And then it's going to copy the same wireless password. I'm going to hit save. And it's literally just that easy. We've set it all the way up. We're ready to go. It's going to go ahead and restart, and it's going to now become a wireless bridge. So if we check it in over here, you can see the device is plugged in right here. It's got the antennas now pointed up. Now what it's going to do is it's going to take the Wi-Fi router that I have in the other room. It's going to bounce the signal here, and then we're going to connect to it on my phone. So we're going to test that. So if you're just tuning in right now, this is John the Net Guy. We're taking a look at a 4-in-1 Wi-Fi device. So this is the 4 different modes. This is the Wavelink 3000 AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 repeater access point mesh. It's kind of like all in one. It's everything you need. The neat thing about this, it's $49 right now. We didn't go check Amazon on the other one, but we will check Amazon on this. This is $49 for Black Friday. And if you bought 2, you could cover a double an area. If you bought 3, you can cover a bigger area. So you don't have to choose to buy a mesh with 3 or 4 or 5 items you don't need. You can buy just as few or as many as you want. Now I'm going to bring you back down here on the top down so you can see this is my phone. This is the device over here plugged in. And I'm going to go ahead and pick the 5G. Now it copied the password that we put in. So I'm going to go ahead and join this network. And now we're going to be connected via wireless. I'm going to bring you guys right into the phone. And this is where we're going to actually do a speedtest.net on this. I'm trying to see. I've got so many apps. There's our speed test app. So it says we're connected to the internet. I have gigabit synchronous internet. I'm also broadcasting, so I think our upstream is going to be a little bit capped. But this is in repeater mode. So it's basically bridging my network and creating a wider coverage area. Now I'm right next to it, so it should go pretty fast. Let's take a quick look. 22 milliseconds, and let's see what it gets to. I have so much noise in this area. This is going to be funny because I literally have the Wi-Fi camera behind me going. I've got others. I was testing this earlier and I got up to 300 megabits out of it. So definitely have a lot of noise in the area right now with the cameras and other things. But I am going to show you another trick with it that we can do, which is to actually plug it in and use it in a different mode here. So that was in I'm going to give it one more try here. That was in the bridge mode. So it's taking my internet and bridging it. You know, I wonder too, if I actually have if I put a data cap on that guest network, that would be really funny. I'm going to have to take a look at that. So I'm going to show you another cool option here that we can do with it, which is to actually plug it in wired. And let's take a look and see if this changes here. So there we go. So you see me, I'm back here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in wired. And the way that that works is if I plug a network cable into the bottom of it, so now it's in essentially a bridge mode. I'm going to go ahead and see if this thing, I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in, and we're going to let it bridge now. So we'll let it restart. We're going to get back on the phone, and we're going to see if this thing goes faster. And while we do that, I'm going to open up mine. I'm going to make sure I don't have a speed limit on that Wi-Fi, because that would be pretty funny if I did. And then I'm trying to do a speed test, because I think I tested it against my other one. So this thing does do up to 3,000 megabits in there. And just connecting to my router here and getting to see all the settings. I need to go to the Wi-Fi. Need to double check that. Client isolation. I do have client isolation on it. Multicast enhancement. Wi-Fi speed limit is disabled on that, so I just do have a lot of noise in this area. So you could try a different combination of bands. We could try a bunch of different things to see how to get the most out of it. I'm going to try it one more time here. We're going to try it in a little bit different mode. So instead of bridging my network, we're going to try it in a mode that's a little bit different here, that it's going to have a wired backhaul, essentially. And then I'm going to connect to it real quick. So bring you guys back over. So now we're on the phone again, and I'm going to connect to it if I can find the 5G, which it did connect to. And we're going to see what it does in this mode now that we've restarted it. Let's go ahead and try. And I think we should be able to get a few hundred megabit if we're real lucky. Okay, so it dropped. So here we go. Now we're starting to get, when you're in that wired mode and you're not bridging and bouncing the signal, I could have picked the wrong AP there. So it will definitely work, and it has essentially no speed limit here. That's just about as good as I get off of my other network here. So almost 800 megabits down. My connection's maxed at 1 gigabit, and about 687 megabits up. So that's a really good performance for the Wavelink here. And the beauty of this is that's the wired backhaul. You could just go put this up in a hallway if you have. So if your router's on one side of your house, again, put it in a hallway in the center of your house. Then when you get to the other side of your house, it'll actually bridge that network and bounce the signal across. So that is from Wavelink, the AX3000. I'll call that a good test. I'll rerun the bridging tests earlier here and see if we can get a better result, because I was getting about 300 before I had all the mics and cameras and everything on, creating noise in here. So let me know if you have questions about that or any other products that are on the show. I'm going to take a quick look at the show page just so I can show you a little bit more about the Wavelink and where you can get it and how much it costs right now, because it is on a Black Friday special. I don't want to forget that. So let's go over here to the show page. If you're looking at that scrolling ticker along the bottom, that's where this takes you. And so we go down here, and this was the Wavelink AX3000. Normally, I believe it's $69, and it's on sale right now, $65.99. It's on a 24% off sale. On 141 ratings, it has a 4.1, and it does have one button setup. I didn't do it that way because you saw how super easy it was to set up just the normal way. But if you want to do the one button setup, you can go to your router, press the WPS button, go to this device, press and hold the WPS button on the front, and it'll connect up. And you don't have to do any passwords, and it'll automatically start that mesh network. So pretty cool. So what is a mesh network and what are all these bands? Well, let's look through their pictures here. Hopefully they'll show us a little bit more. It's saying it's good for up to 2,000 square feet and 256 devices. But again, that's just for the single unit. Now this is it looks like 4x4 MIMO then, because it has 4x5 dB antennas. But if you add multiple units, you expand that coverage area. So it also has a native meshing system, which is pretty good. They only did send me one, so I can't necessarily tell, how it's going to do in a mesh configuration, but the single unit does work very well, and it does get the full speed of my gigabit internet, which is pretty slick as well. So that is the product we were just looking at. If you're just tuning in, this is John the Net Guy. We're doing a pre-Black Friday stream, and we've got a few other cool products coming up. I need to pick the next one here on the Amazon carousel. If you're watching on Amazon, do me a favor. I believe it's like right down there. There's a follow button. If you haven't done that yet and you're just tuning in on Amazon, that does me a big favor. It actually lets the brands know that I'm getting a couple people watching here on the Amazon side. It also does help when you check out of Amazon. You might see my face showing off and schlepping products like this. So pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This is a magnetic wireless power bank for your MagSafe phones. Now, whether you have, like me, the show phone here, an iPhone 12, or you have a 16, like the other phone here, my personal one that I use, this is going to work with anything that has MagSafe. So if you're a big MagSafe, you know what, I'm going to change the close-up camera because I feel like I'm pretty far away when I'm in this corner. So this is going to work on anything that has MagSafe. It's 5,000 milliamp hours, and it does support 18 watts of fast charging. So let's take a quick look at it. I did open this up the other day and did an unbox and tested it out fully, but overall, very impressed with it. It does charge with USB-C. So up here it comes. There's the unit and how very slender and small that is. We'll go online to see exactly how thin it is, but it's just about as thin as my iPhone. And the neat thing about it is if you have that matching MagSafe ring, it's on, and you literally can't shake this off. I've tried a lot. It does not come off, but it does come if you twist and pull. And on the bottom, you can see, I bring you over here, those lights. Now, I didn't recharge it after I was playing with it. I used it and charged my iPhone all the way up. It has a little button here. You can plug devices into it. So it's two-way charging. You can plug a USB-C cable into it and charge devices with it. I was trying to see if I have one of my charging cables connected up over here. I thought I did. There it is. So I can show you guys this one real quick. So you can take your standard USB-C charger when you get home, plug it in, and then it's going to start charging up. You can see that blinking light starting to go up. So now it's charging the unit. Let's see if it can charge and charge itself at the same time. Oh, well, this is at 100% because it always stays playing. Let's use my personal phone. Okay, so it's passing. It is charging it and charging the bank itself at the same time. So if you're around power, you can do that. But this is essentially going to double the power that's in your iPhone. So another really cool option here. If you're looking for something that's going to not take up too much room, you can keep this maybe in one pocket, keep this in the other. When this starts to wear down, you take that MagSafe out of your other pocket, you throw it on there, and now you're charging. 18 watts. A lot of the MagSafe, the QI charging, you're going to see is at 5 and 10 watts. So this is 18 watts fast charging, and that's going to be available in your newer phones. So it does have that capability. It will work with other, wireless charging, but it is set up and designed for MagSafe specifically because it does have that ring on the back there. So very cool to have something like this, especially for emergency preparedness, maybe during power outages, events like that. Like we just went through a bomb cyclone here. Our daughter was here and she had gotten home before we did, and she goes, the power just went out. She put her meal in the microwave, hit the power button to go, and the power went out. And we were worried about her. We said, hey, how charged up is your cell phone? So as we get into the winter here, if you haven't found stocking stuffers yet, these also make great stocking stuffers. So just a plug there if you're looking for something like me as a parent, which we always do. I'm going to go ahead and go to the page for this so you can see it. It does have a very high list price, I've noticed, but it is severely discounted. So that's another neat thing about it. So The list price is $52.99. It's discounted to $31.99, but there's also a checkbox there that you can hit for another 30% off, which takes it down to $22. So if you're looking for a stocking stuffer, $22 battery pack, look how ultra slim that is. It's saying 20 watts of full wired charging here, and it will charge at 30-minute charge. It looks like it'll get up to about half of your phone from dead. So whether you're doing the wire or wireless charging, it looks like. There's the magnets. Again, super strong magnetic connection. It does not fall off. We like that. And guaranteed battery life. I think they mean guaranteed battery life on that one, but there you go. You can take it anywhere with you. And a very nice looking gentleman there is going to show you all about it. So there you go. That is the MagSafe wireless power bank. I'm going to go ahead and see if you can see this on my phone. And there's my picture of my wife. I plug this on the back, if I did it right, and there we go. Now I'm instantly starting to charge. So something, if you don't have one of these already, I'd highly recommend investing in it. If you come back over here, you're going to see that it actually does have a little cord that comes with it. So if you do want to charge it back up, you can go ahead and plug this in. It will also work with any of your standard cords. So if you're on Android or any newer iPhone, and you just want to carry one USB-C charger, which I absolutely love, and I dropped over here, you can charge this up. And I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to charge this power bank up just using a regular USB-C, and we'll have that charged up for when I need to use it next. So I'm going to put that back here in the corner, and we're going to move on to our next product. So I want to thank those guys for sending that one out for a fair and honest review. Taking a quick look at the chats and see if I lost anybody. Nope. Blind Tech says MagSafe is awesome. I love that. Yeah, MagSafe is a really cool technology. The other thing it does, it keeps the phone connection, the port, much cleaner. You don't have to worry about dirt and stuff getting in it. My wife has this horrible thing in the car where she'll let the cords fall down, and then we're in the Northwest here. It rains all the time. The floor mats are always wet and dirty. And the lightning connectors back in the day used to just sit in that water, and they would corrode all up. It was awful. But yeah, wireless charging, if I can do it, is the way I try to go now. I'm going to pull up the next product here on Amazon. I got to dial this in, and we will get that one going. And then we're going to go on to a really fun product that I've got coming up. So this next one, if you're looking for something to maybe spice up the outdoors of your house, if you're looking for something that will do a great job, maybe as Christmas lights, this is from the XM Cozy Plus company. This is a set of outdoor smart RGB lights. So you've seen the you've seen the LED light strips at other stores. This one is a smart set of lights, multiple colors, and they're RGB. So you can use them to sync with phone music. You can have them timered to turn automatically on and off. You can have dynamic lighting. We actually, for election day, had red, white, and blue on our lights outside, which was really cool. And you can set every single bulb to its own color. Now, I don't know much about this product because I waited here to unbox it with you, but there it is right there. There's information about it. It looks to be 30 bulbs and 96 feet. So that means there's a bulb every 3 feet along the line here. I'm going to go ahead and unbox it live, and then we're going to test it out, and we're going to see how it does, see how easy the process is. So there is the box, and looks like it's fully assembled, which is already better than some of the other lights. Let me go ahead and pull this out. Okay. Now, just looking at these, they're not removable. So the bulbs themselves looks like they're fused in here. They do have a little fixture on every single one. It looks like you could screw these horizontally. Okay, so I got to show that real close because that's a differentiator from a lot of the other lights. See that little hole there? They've actually thought ahead and give you something to screw into. So if you wanted to put this up against the eaves, you could do that. The other cool thing is you can actually run it on a wire. So if you have a guide wire, you see how it's got a little hook? You can hook this over a guide wire. I'm liking that feature already. I'm just looking at how they've looped this up. There is the main power connector for it here. I don't know if this is outdoor rated, but it's looking like it is. Risk of shock, installed to a covered outlet that's weatherproof attachment, and make sure that the plug's on. So It looks like it is outdoor rated power supply on that also. 24-volt output and 1.5 amp max. So my math somewhere in there is around 50, 60 watts, or 50 watts, I guess you would be. So not an incredible amount of power draw, but that's great. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. It is non-polarized plug too. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in here. We're going to let them fire up. I'll push the button and hey, we've got light. So they're all white. And again, my studio is super bright. So this says nothing about these lights, depending on their brightness. I'll have to do a test outside. But already I like the way that the orbs here, I want to bring you on the top down. I like the way that the orbs here kind of facet the light. They're almost like a diamond's shape. Like they've cut them into multiple facets here to let the light go around, but it's not objectionable. Like you're not staring into a bright light bulb the whole time. So that's kind of cool. I want to get the app started up because I think that's going to be really fun. Let's take a look at what else you get in here. So you're going to get some zip ties. You're going to get some cable and cord connections. You are going to get a couple, it looks like, additional LED modules. So it does look like they come apart eventually. So you get a couple spares of those. That's really nice to have. So if you're looking for a Christmas light alternative, maybe the house needs a set of these. They're actually very affordable right now. I'll get into that here after we see how they do on the adjustment here. Just taking a quick look. And so I cannot change them through the power supply button. I was just trying to see because some of these you can press and hold the power supply button here. So it does have voice control. Oh, there we go. They're blinking red now. So let me go ahead and bring the app up. We're going to go ahead and install the app. The app for this one is the XM Cozy app. So I'm going to go in the App Store. I'm going to go look it up. Just because QR codes don't do well on Amazon. Okay, you know what? And the app has tremendous ratings. Let's bring you guys in on this. So this is the app right here. I can go down to the XM Cozy app. I can hit get. Hopefully it will confirm here with my Face ID. We'll start downloading it. If I have to log in, I'm going to have to go to a different screen for you guys. Nobody gets my password. Thank you very much. But so there we go. Allow it to send. Agree. I really do like the ones that offer to use Google or Apple ID. So there we go. So I'm going to check this and I'm going to let it use my NetGuy Apple ID. Sounds good to me. That's just a higher level of security. It's one less password to remember. I really appreciate when apps are doing that. They're getting a lot better in that. We're going to go ahead and hit add device. It says make sure we turn our Bluetooth on. And I actually know which one it is. Connect the power supply and make sure that the string light is on. Press and hold the controller for 5 seconds. The string lights enter a flash state. Okay, so I'm going to press and hold for 5 seconds. That's one thing I wasn't doing. Okay. 1 second, 2 times. Okay, so they are doing the flash state. Next. Okay, select the Wi-Fi network and enter the password. So these are Wi-Fi enabled. So I'm on that. Set now. Got it. Okay, go turn on location to get Wi-Fi names. Set now. So I do have location enabled already. That's interesting. Already set. Ignore that. Oh, so let's see. Wi-Fi name. I've got to punch this in. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put it on that fancy guest Wi-Fi we just had earlier. And then I'm going to add you guys back on here. Interesting. It lost that connection to my phone. So I'm going to plug it back in. There you go. So you can see that it's adding, it's scanning for devices. Then it's going to hopefully register it to the cloud if everything worked out okay. I'm excited to see how this app works here. And I do have Bluetooth on, yeah. So it's supposed to be able to connect with Bluetooth. So they're still in their blinky mode. That's the XM Cozy lights. I'm just looking at the maximum wattage that it says that these are going to run at is 36 watts and IP65 waterproofing. So that's good. That's for dust and water. So that's going to handle being outside left in the rain. You're not going to have any issues. Working temperature is -4 to 104. Now, I thought 104 would be hot, but my parents live in southern Utah. It gets to be like 115. So technically, if you're in southern Utah or one of those other areas, that could be difficult. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to start over on this process. Sometimes this happens. It is it's a live show, and we're going to try setting these up because I didn't see it working the way we wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and start it back up. I'm going to reopen the XM Cozy app. We're going to skip. We're going to hit over here so you guys can see it. See, what's funny is it's asking for access to Bluetooth, but it's asking it on the second screen. So I don't get that request on my phone. I think it's because of the way that I am screen mirroring my iPhone. So let me skip that. There we go. That's why it wasn't working. Okay. Sorry, guys. Curse of the demo here. I'm going to bring it back over, and then you guys can see it. So that was part of the problem. Is I was going to say the XM Cozy string lights. I'm going to follow and press the button for 5 seconds. That's part of why it wasn't doing the automatic setup, was because of that. So there goes. Fast flashing state. Set now. Okay, local network, Bluetooth, got that. Turn on location to get Wi-Fi name. Yeah, that's, well, we're going to try it now. And I'm going to put the password in for the Wi-Fi name. It wasn't automatically pulling mine, but I've got a lot of security settings on my phone, and instantly found it that time. So as soon as I put the Wi-Fi name, it got it. They're now starting to look solid color, and it's being added to my account, as you see here. So 98 feet is a lot. I've got some different models of outdoor lights, not nearly 98 feet. And I do like the brightness of this. This will be really interesting to see. Pinky Blind Tech says, oh, okay. They do look bright, Pinky. Maybe good light in an outdoor space too. Yeah, so if you're using this, not necessarily for Christmas, it's just the holiday season that we have here. But if you're going to be using this, possibly maybe to light your outdoor gazebo, maybe your outdoor cooking area, you can do that. Oh, we got Circuit Rewind, another YouTuber in the house, and it looks like he sent me 6 beers. Okay, time for a coffee break. So, not bad here. Okay, so this thing, of course, just stopped when it was being added. Let's see if it's doing its ad properly. Just rebooted the lights, whatever that means. So we're going to find out. Looks like device is being added. They've gone back to white again. Hopefully this thing doesn't have firmware to update or whatever. We're going to find out. But we're taking a look, if you're just tuning in, at the XM Cozy string lights. This is a 98-foot, 96-foot set of smart RGB lights for the outside of your house. While it's being added, I'm going to run you guys over to the Amazon page for this, just because I want to be able to see what we've got here. So if you're just tuning in, you click on the Black Friday Power Up. This is the light units themselves. So it's adding to my account right now. We're just loading them into the app for the first time. But the design of these is pretty cool. So you can do various different patterns and effects. I said for like Election Day, we had the lights going off there in red, green, or sorry, RGB, or no, red, blue, white, red, white, and blue. There we go. So there's the loop, there's the controller, there's the hooks and the zip ties that you get. And there's an example of outdoor, how you do that. Now it actually did. I'm going to say allow, homepage, device connection failure. Make sure the device is powered on. Interesting. So it is not able to connect to those lights, even though it added them to my account. It found them and it added them to my account. They just don't happen to work with that network. Give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that we have a good demo for you guys so you see this. I try to give every product a fair shake here. Let me see if I can do... I'm going to go ahead and remove that device, and we're going to re-add it again. So it is in the fast blink mode. I think it has to do with how I'm adding it to my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go ahead and add them one more time. They're in a flashing state. Now it picked my Wi-Fi up that time. I wonder if it's because I had to close the app and reopen it. I'm going to go ahead and put my Wi-Fi password in. And then we'll bring you guys back so you can see. This is the one that was being added. The lights just changed color. So let's hope that that means that it worked properly. They're a solid white color now. And then we get to have some fun with them. This is, if you're just tuning in, the XM Cozy Plus Company's RGB string lights. So we're going to have some fun with these if they add properly. And we were just taking a look on Amazon at them, and it looked like a pretty good set of lights. I'm just double checking our time to make sure that we're good. It says it was added successfully. So let's play around with the lights a little bit here. I need to confirm the number of lights in the strand. So we're doing that initial setup here. So the number of lights in this strand for me is 30 that we have. So depending on if you have multiple strands, my guess here. And then usually on these, we can set different colors. So you see me on the side here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring us side by side so you can see the lights here and what's happening to them as I hit the different colors. So let's give you guys a side-by-side view. I'm still here. You see my phone, and I tap. There you go. So now it's dancing that color around. You can have the lotus flowers. So this is green and blue that's cycling in here. Those are all the standard scenes that you have. This is pretty common. Different moods that you have, and then you have a DIY. So this is what I did the other day to create that effect. And so I can pick the individual color, and I can do red, white, and blue. So then I can say preview, and actually, can I hit save? Patriotic. Confirm. Okay, so that did not do what I wanted to do here. I want to hit that. No, I don't want to edit that scene. So let's do plus. I don't want rainbow effect. I want a chase of red, blue, and white. Save, pat, confirm. There we go. Okay, so I've actually made my own chasing colors here. They're going way too fast, so I would want to edit that one. Let's see if I can edit that scene. Will it let me do that? DIY. Okay, I'm going to change the speed way down. And there we go. Okay, so now it's, if you want to have the cops at your house, you just do the red, white, and blue. You can set that up. But you can see how this works. Maybe you have a favorite sports team. Maybe you have a favorite color. I can pick different colors on here. So I can set all the lights to blue. My son Maverick's favorite color is green. This would be like perfect Green Lantern. You can also set the brightness down. So this is at the lowest level of brightness. And then at the highest level of brightness, this is what green looks like. So again, that's from XM Cozy. I'm really excited about this because I think for Christmas, if you wanted to do something really cool for the outside of your house, this would look really, really slick. So let's go back over to the Amazon page just so you can see what the pricing is on this. Now, I can tell you other sets. Oh, I've got the picture going wrong here. I can tell you other sets of lights have been incredibly expensive when I've looked to install them. I wanted to expand our outdoor lighting, hundreds of dollars if you go look. So $87.99 right now, and that gets you a 98-foot strand. It looks like if you want to get a 123-foot strand, so you get 10 more bulbs, looks like you can do that for 111 on the Black Friday special, which is pretty cool. The smallest set would be 49, and that's going to give you 15 LED bulbs. So again, about a bulb every 3 feet. So if you wanted to do like a 49 across the bottom of your house, and maybe you got a 2-story and you want to do another 49 around the back, that would be another way to order these so that you get a good deal. Other thing that I didn't do on this yet, and I'm actually kind of excited to, is to use the smart home technology to control them. I just realized I haven't actually connected that. So let me add these to my Amazon Alexa, and we're going to see if we can get these linked up. I got a link, and it says link successful. The skill has been added. Now I have to go back in, and I'm not going to call it the really long name, but I'm going to call it the string light. So let me go here. And I'll save that. I'll close out of that. So then I should be able to say, Alexa, set the string lights to red. Well, maybe. I'm going to turn them back off and on. I'm going to make sure I'm connected. Sometimes it takes her a while to discover these things. Alexa, set the string lights to red. Boom, there it goes. We got red lights. Alexa, set the string lights to white. Alexa, set the string lights to 1% brightness. So that's the lowest level of brightness you get. Alexa, set the string lights to 100% brightness. Alexa, set the string lights to 100%. There we go. So that's back up to 100% brightness. You know, rainbow modes, other specialty modes, you could use the app, but there you go. You can control this with your voice assistant. The other cool thing, it does work with the Google Voice Assistant, but you can actually do interesting things if you set up routines. So I've just started to do this with the WiseCam, where when somebody starts walking up to my house, it knows from the camera that there's been motion detected. So then it tells us in the house on the loudspeakers that somebody's walking up to the house, which is pretty slick. So just wanted to show you that you could actually have your house change color as somebody's driving up to it. Or if these are around, that might be a signal for you. Or if you're hard of hearing, somebody that's hard of hearing, you can have the lights change when somebody's ringing the doorbell or doing something cool like that. So another really awesome thing. American says Home Assistant. Yeah, let's go look here. I don't know. I believe it has that capability. Let's double check for you. Alexa, stop. My Alexa was playing some music. It has Google Assistant here. I don't see any Apple control capability here either. So, hey, Paul, welcome. Thanks for checking in, man. This is a completely live show, Paul. So, yeah, you said hi in the chat. I'm saying hi to you. And I cannot repeat that because that's going to get me in trouble here. I love it. And American says, RGB, I have been summoned. Yes. Alexa, set the string lights to rainbow. I don't think it knows how to do that. No, I'm going to have to go into the app to do that. But that's from the XM Cozy Company. I can't wait to go put these outside. We've got hooks on our house. This won't take me long at all. And my wife is a huge sucker for Christmas lights. So I'm going to see if I can do that. This at 98 feet. The only thing is this set might actually be too big. So I'm going to have to figure out my path and my routing so I can use it all up. It does not look like the segments can be cut, and I wouldn't try. But it looks like you may or may not be able to join here. I'm reading here, insert to the cord connector, max end up to 36 watts, 70 LEDs. So you could double this potentially. The string is rated at 15, don't overload. Connect another lighting strings for outfit to end to a maximum of 36. So you could hook 2 sets of these together, I think, and maybe they do come in 2 sets. I'd have to look at that. I don't see a jumper wire. Sometimes they'll include a jumper wire if you have a section of blank, but I don't see that on this one. So very good. There we go. If an intruder enters your house, you can have intruder mode where the lights dim to red and orange, Roombas are unleashed, and Doom music starts playing. Actually, that's kind of sounds like a fun activity. That'd be pretty cool. I love it. Thanks, American. Now you're making me laugh today here. I'm going to bring these down. And we're going to switch off to our next product. I do have another XM Cozy product coming out potentially later this week, just so you know. So if you're buying into a certain ecosystem, their app has an incredible 5-star rating, and that's really good for smart apps. But I'm going to bring us over here, and I'm going to go ahead and switch on to our next product. Just looking up here. And you know what? I think we're time for the fun stuff. Since American is here, we went through the bomb cyclone together. I think you were a little more protected down south. This next product is from the Dabson Company. This is another power bank or power station, solar generator, whatever you want to call it. But it's been charging itself down there because, silly me, wouldn't you know, when I started the show, I didn't check to see if I had charged this up, and it was almost completely dead from me testing and using it a bunch. So what do you get with something like this? This power station here can actually run your home. It can run your appliances. It can do everything. What's really important when you're shopping for a power station is just to get the right parameters, get the right settings that you want. Jackery was one of the original makers of these power stations, and they came out and they were really small. They were like, 200 watts, 300 watts, and you couldn't do anything with them. This is a 2400 watt unit inverter. Now, it doesn't have 2400 watts of battery power in there. It has 1380 watt hours. So if you're going to hook a fridge to this, for example, a fridge might use 1000 watts over a 24-hour period. This will run your fridge for a complete day by itself. But where do you need that extra power? If you wanted to run your fridge, your television, and a hot plate to cook, you could do all of that with the capacity that's in here for that 2400 watt inverter. One of the big key differentiators of this unit versus others, what I wanted to show you, is it actually has an app called the Dabson app here. And I'm going to bring you guys over to my phone. And this is what I like about technology when it starts getting to be really smart. Like I said, I had it earlier, and it could have been 100% charged by this time in the show, but I had it down almost to zero earlier. And here I can go into the actual app for the unit, and I can adjust the output, the input. I can turn on and off the different items. I can turn the LED that's on the front of this. All of these power stations that I see now need to have a light. If they don't have a light, that's like a critical feature missing to me. I can turn the light up or down. I can turn the SOS on, and I can do this all right from the app, which is pretty cool. So that's one feature that it has, is this app control. It does have a boost mode in here. I can turn my AC on. So when I turn the AC on, the inverter inside of it kicks on. If you're not going to use the inverter, you can actually save a ton of power by not plugging it in. So if I have my laptop here, and I don't know if I actually brought it down. Well, the show laptop is USB-C. So if I want to connect a laptop, ditch the power brick. Don't use that. You can take this USB cable, this USB-C, and you'll see over here that it's got USB power delivery 30, but it has this spot down here that's USB power delivery 100 watts. Now, the 100 watt USB power delivery can actually charge your laptop in an hour. So very, very fast. And it will go up, and that's a great question. Green is asking, power delivery 19 volts? Absolutely. So it is going to be at a higher voltage to get that higher wattage. It's also going to run your Starlink Mini. So if you want to run a Starlink Mini, you can actually go direct from the USB-C here. So if you're going to do travel trailer, things like that, think it will fit in the side storage of my travel trailer. Do I have my tape measure? I do, just for you American, and I think it's a Harbor Freight one too. So a cheapo, 12 inches tall. So hopefully you guys can see that. So about a foot tall, about 10 inches wide, and about 17 inches across. So not an incredible amount of space taken up by this. As far as weight, they're not light, but it's not super heavy. I showed you a 2,000 watt capacity, 2,400 watt one a couple weeks ago. That was over 60 pounds. When I was trying to bring it in the house by myself, it was a mess. This you can lift up pretty easy, but I do want to show you the myriad of connections this thing has. I think this is going to be the best for you to do it. So super excited from Dabson for sending this thing out, because we just had the perfect need for it recently with this bomb cyclone. This is something I almost never see on here. You can plug your RV into this. This is a TT30 outlet. You're going to see this a couple more times on the show. You almost never see a 30 amp, 120 volt outlet, but because this puts out so much power, and these have 20 amp rated outlets here as well for the standard outlet banks, because this puts out so much power, you could actually run an RV on it, and you could start the air conditioner in an RV. Now, would I recommend running an air conditioner for very long? Because it doesn't have the duration of the battery bank. But the other interesting thing, it has a pairing capability. So if you had a external battery bank, or you want to pair these up, it has that parallel port capability like a generator. Another neat thing about this is it can actually be used in a pass-through like a UPS mode. So you can be running it and using it while you're charging it. And if it fails to have power coming in, it just kicks on its battery and keeps the load going. So that's a really cool feature. Let's talk about the inputs and the outputs on this one. So it is going to have a standard cigarette lighter port over here, limited to 10 amps. It's going to have two 4 amp barrel jack connectors. Those are individually controllable, so I can turn those on and off. It's going to have the IoT reset. So if you hit that button, you can reprogram the wireless on it if you forget what your password or anything was. You are going to have your light on off button here, and you can set the SOS mode on it if you need to. On this side, we're going to have 3 USB Type-C outs. 2 of them are 30 watt. One of them, it looks like, is 100 watt. You're going to have a fast charge USB Type-A and a 5 volt 2.4 as well. And that fast charge, it looks like, is on 2 of these ports. You know what? I think this has 2 100 watt. I'm going to double check on the Amazon, but they have a label sitting in between them with 2 lines. So I'm guessing these might be 2 power delivery 100s, which would be awesome because you could fully charge a MacBook Pro and be on Starlink at the same time with one of these and not even have to turn the inverter on, which is cool. Let me tell you about some other features while we're doing this here. And if you have questions, let me know in the chat. Could you hook it to a generator and simultaneously be topped off? This is the best use case for this. Absolutely, American. So when we had that bomb cyclone, people did run generators around here. But if you have a trickle drain like a refrigerator or freezer that's maybe 50 watts, you're running a 3,000 to 5,000 watt generator just to run 50 watts, a 100th of the capacity. If you use the generator to charge up your power bank, great question, by the way, you can plug the items into your power bank and keep them going all night. So maybe you only run your generator 3 hours a day, you save your fuel. Let's talk about how fast this thing charges. Like I said, before the show today, it was at 0. It's at 77% right now. So if I bring you back over here on the app so you guys can see what I'm doing, I can go into the settings of this and I can actually change the rate of charge and discharge, and I can put it in a fast charge mode. So I can set the AC output voltage if I want my voltage to be a little bit lower. If I want to set my charge speed, this thing has the ability to charge off of a generator and solar power at the same time. We'll talk about that in a second. So you've got the AC plus panel voltage charging. You can see the rates. I can charge up to 2,400 watts continuous into this thing. That is about 2C of charging. So you wouldn't want to do that all the time, but that's a fantastic charge rate. I was charging at 1,200 watts here before the show, and I was on an extension cord that's a little sketch. I'll put it that way. And I noticed my extension cord was getting a little bit warm. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to bring this down to 700 watts. So I've been charging at 700 watts. So if you have a generator that maybe is running your TV, it's running your fridge, it's doing all that, you can set your charge speed all the way down to, looks like 50 watts. So you can charge as little as 50 watts. And so when I do that, what you're going to notice here is on the side of the unit, the number over here is starting to drop. So now it's charging at 50 watts. The charge time to get that last 20% is going to be 3-4 hours. This has a ton of capacity, by the way. So it's going to take a few more hours. Now, if I want to increase that charge speed, I'll go back into the app. And I can increase that charge speed back to 700. And then it's going to be done here in under an hour. So that number is going to go down. If I come back out to the main screen here, it's going to tell you the charge time is 7.3 hours. Now it's going down to 1.4. So 1.6, 0.4, and then you can see the input. So the higher you go on the rate of input, the faster this thing charges. Like I said, we're at 80%, and I've just been charging it for a little over an hour during the show. Does it have a battery protect mode? Say charge it to 80%. I don't know. Let's take a look at the settings on here. I do know that there's a firmware update. So DC, AC timeouts, that's going to be smart. Looking to see device sharing. Oh, you could add this to a friend. Let's see if there's any other settings. Homepage, device log. So I don't have any of that in here. Charge discharge settings. So I don't see that on there. That's a great question, American. I'll try updating the firmware because there is an actual firmware update waiting on this one, and we can go from there. So if you take it over to the input side, you can actually see the input values that it has. And we go into there. I want to see also if the display, can I change the display here? Homepage style standard. So there's a couple of really cool things. If you're wanting to kind of view everything all at once, they have an alternative homepage, which will actually show you the energy flow. So I'm not actually using energy yet, but I'll show you what that would look like. Let's go grab that set of lights. Now this is going to be such a small amount. I'd be impressed if this thing can actually see how much these lights are drawing. Well, let's go ahead and draw. So I'm taking 700 watts in. I'm going to use the button to turn the AC inverter on. So I have that. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug the lights in. And there we go. We've got light. And these lights, again, pulling 15 to 30 watts are going to be so minor of a draw. I don't even know if it's going to be able to see it. I'm looking at the input and the output. It's not even registering the output because the drain is so small. But if you're going to drain, 200 or 300 watts, it'll actually show that on this screen. You kind of see the draw and the drain come in. So that's another alternative if you want to see kind of your in and your out and the capacity at the same time. So I love the idea of the app. Now, if you didn't actually want to use the app, maybe you're not a phone geek like I am, the power panel on it is plenty good. I'm going to bring this down. Now, to get it over close enough to the camera, I'm going to have to unplug it here. So we're going to stop charging for a little bit, but that's fine. Then we bring you guys right up here so you can see it. So there's the display on it. So that's going to show you the charging amount that you have here, the discharge amount, the fan settings, all of that, and then the output. So all of that's controlled, and then you can push each button to turn on the different areas. So now I've turned the USB ports on. I can turn the DC ports on. I can turn the light on. I can do all that, and I'm using 1 watt of power. So it kind of 2 watts of power there. There we go. So you can see the full featured panel if you don't want to do that. So you're saying I need to bring up my server to load test. Hearing protection show is the same time. Yeah, let's do. That would be kind of fun. My cell phone does a battery protect mode I use. That's a really good idea. So I don't know if you can set it to charge up to 80% and then stop. That would be a great question. I'll give that question to the manufacturer when I check in with them. But I'm telling you, these things are incredibly valuable. I've used these on my boat. That's a great area to use these if you're a boater like I am. You can spend a lot of money, and I have putting in charging systems, putting in solar panels, doing all that. Let's take a quick look at the inputs because that's another really important thing on this one. So I'm going to bring you around to this side. So this side is the input side here of the unit. Well, hopefully you guys I can get you all the way down here so you can see it. So that's where all of the power is. And now you can see all of the different options that we have here. So we're going to have an AC speed charge option, so we can do that. We have an MC4 solar connector. That's a real standard solar connector. So that's really nice to have. You have your standard PC power connector, your overload, and guess what? You've got data. You got an Ethernet port on there. So for nerds, this is the one to get. Now, they make different models of this one. This one just happens to be kind of a mid-range. It's a new model that just came out. They had a 1,300 watt capacity. This is the 1,400 watt capacity. They both have that 2,400 watt inverter, so they can run more than enough power to handle surge loads. Like if you're kicking off something, maybe you're turning on a cook plate or something, you need to get it hot quickly, and then you just want to simmer something, you can do that with this. It does have that app control. Let's go take a look at Amazon, and we're going to see the Amazon page for this. I'm going to bring you guys back over, and we can take a look and shop together. So this is, again, from the Dabson company. So you've probably heard of EcoFlow. You've probably heard of a bunch of these other companies, Jackery. These guys on this unit right now, you can see all the stats up there, up to 80% charge in just 32 minutes, which is pretty amazing. It's expandable if you want to connect 2 of these together, that parallel capability of 4,600 watts. So now we're talking to where you could actually run appliances, major appliances in your house, like an oven or other things temporarily. So that's pretty slick. But the total price on it right now is $1,100, but there is a $400 off coupon, which you have to be signed in to use, which I'm not going to do on this one. So, but you can see kind of the basics of it here as well. It looks like it is also UL listed. So that's another fantastic item for this, is to be UL listed for safety. So that's good to know. There's all of the different outputs. We were just taking a look at them earlier. So the power boost, it looks like it can temporarily boost the power up to 3,000 watts on the inverter for a short period. It has a NEMA TT30 connector, which is going to be fun because we're going to talk about those in just a second. It's going to have a DC charging port, DC output ports. So powers 13 different devices at once. So pretty slick there. But again, from the Dabson company, I'm going to take a look to see if they have the Crosslinks. I don't think they do. I'm going to give them another shout out here. I'm just going to look up Dabson because they do make these great portable power stations. Okay, I just want to show you real quick these other options. If you're looking for something with maybe a little bit more net capacity, they have one right here, the 2300. So it's going to have 2330 watt hours built into it, 5 by 2200 watt outlets, a max of 8300 if you merge these together. So fantastic capability to pair these. There's a 2100 version. The 1300 is on sale for $569. So if you want to get the slightly smaller capacity unit here, you can get it for under $600, which is great. And then you can see where you can double them up and you can pair and twin them. And then this is the one that I'm looking at right now. It's available if you were to order it. In my case, I can get it between December 2nd and 4th. So pretty quick here as well. So that is from the Dabson company. I'm going to go back here and see if we have any other questions. Does the DBS 2300 have the 400 off as well? I probably am saying no, because that's a great deal at $900 for that amount of capacity. There are a lot of sales. Let's see what else it has. So I'm just taking a look over here. This is the 2300 and it's $968. No sale on that one, but it does say Prime shipping on that one. The 2100, I'm just double checking to make sure that there's no, that's 44% off. So some pretty good deals to be had on this. Lithium iron phosphate technology on the batteries. So, you know, earlier lithium ion batteries were potentially dangerous, had fire risks. This has got a lot of safety capability built in and thought, as well as that UL listing, which makes me feel really good about using this one in our house. So I want to thank the Dabson company for sending this one out for a fair and honest review. If you want to have something that's not going to put fumes out into your house, that you can charge with solar panels, you know, up to, it looks like 2400 watts combined charging capability, this would be a neat option for you. And it is an emergency preparedness device. So we just had this random bomb cyclone. This whole weekend is going down in the 30s. We're barely going to get to freezing now. So having something like this around could be the difference between frozen pipes or, you know, changing something from a life-threatening situation into just an inconvenience. So I've definitely run UPSs and power banks and backups. This would be a really great addition for me because I can say, like I did before, you could run your generator for a couple hours a day, run everything off of this, and then charge this up in those couple hours a day. So really slick. How much do the solar panels cost? Now, I don't know if Dabson makes the solar panels, but there's actually very good selection of solar panels. I'm working with a company right now that sells a 400 watt suitcase solar unit, which you can open up and put on your roof. You can put on top of your car or whatever you need that does 400 watts. You're looking at a couple $100 usually for a good solar panel. And the rule of thumb is, well, rule of 5 technically, between 4 and 5 hours of useful solar a day. So if you get a 400 watt panel, just figure 4 to 5 times that is your capacity. So you'd be able to charge this up easily on a sunny day from scratch. So pretty cool. Very neat. So that was from the Dabson company. I've got a couple products left, and it's so funny because they lead right in to talking about that TT30 outlet we were talking about. Let me go ahead and pull those up so I make sure I have those. And this, thanks, Greg. Greg's following on Amazon. I appreciate that, man. Good to see you here. This is from the Paulin company. And this is for your RVs. Now, I have an RV out front. We're going to talk about it here in a second. It has a connection with a bunch of different adapters, and I've shown you those adapters on the show before. It's very limited in current. This is an actual RV connection for your house. So whether you need an electrician depends on your state and the electrical rules for a new installation like this, but this is going to actually be something that you could install. And if I open it up, you're going to see right away what it can do for us. This is a TT30 power outlet for your RV. So you can mount this in any which direction you want. against a post. It has these mounting holes on the back here. So you can put a single screw in, kind of set it there. You can drive these screws from the inside and you hold it. It has a power inlet on the back and on both sides and on the bottom. So the beauty of that, where I want to mount this, I have a little post out there at my house where my RV parks. I want to mount this on that little post, and then I want to feed power in from the bottom. So I can throw out those hokey adapters that we all use, and you can use this. And why would we want to do that? Well, the important thing when you're doing electrical work here is to have a good solid connection. The blades on, and I'm going to show you guys the next product we've got coming up. The blades on the TT30 receptacle are much, much larger than the connectors on your standard 15 amp outlet. So that's why they can go up to 30 amps, is because the contact surface here is so much bigger. So you can see right there, that gold connector, you're getting a lot more of that surface area touching, including the ground prong. So with the way this works, and this is an extra deep socket, I just want you to see how that goes in. I push this all the way down, and now it's below the level and I can close the door. Another neat thing about this unit specifically is it has this push latch so it stays on and doesn't fall off like my other one. And it has a locking connector right here. So if you did need to lock it so people don't mess with your stuff, you can do that. But this will actually be waterproof in use. So this covered, it'll actually be waterproof. It does have room for even your largest connector here. But that's an advantage of using the 30 amps that you have versus an adapter. Now this is how to wire it. I'm not going to necessarily wire it all up right now. I am going to go wire it up when I do get the RV post ready to install. So I'm following along with you guys on that. Let me go here. I'm showing you just how to install it and how easy this is though. So neat thing about this is you're going to have a wire. And actually I did have some cable that I brought down earlier. Oh, I see one here. Excuse me. So you're going to have wire that looks something like this when you've stripped it. So you're going to have a black connector, you're going to have a green connector, and you're going to have a white connector. Well, if you look at these, they're actually color coded the same way. So this connector here is going to be a silver one. This is a brass one, and this is a green. Happens to match up to these. Now, this would be for the receptacle, or sorry, the plug side. So we'll do that on the next product here. But this one would connect to, at a minimum, for code, you need to use 10 gauge. So that's this orange wire. So this is 10 gauge, 10 by 2 Romex here. So you can do the same thing. So your green or your ground goes in there, your white or your silver goes in there, and your brass connector goes to your black wire. So that's how we would connect this up. The ground also needs to be connected here to the back of the unit to ground the box. That's just code. So you would do this included ground wire. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in and button it up. And then we're going to talk about how we would do the receptacle. So perfect, there we go. And then we tie it back up. Now, the way the knockouts work is pretty simple. Like I said, it's got knockouts on basically all sides. You could potentially even top feed with this removable spot if you were in a weatherproof area. Maybe you're inside of a garage or a shop. But this comes with that TT30 outlet. And you say, well, John, what if I have a bigger RV? Let's go take a look at the Amazon page here. Just want to show you what we're looking at. This is again from Paulin. So just barely over the price of an adapter, you can get the correct fitting here. And that's what we're really excited about installing this, is we're going to have a correct fitting to plug the RV in at home. So you can see how that looks here on Amazon. But they also have different fittings if you have a larger RV. So if you need a 50 amp RV outlet, that's going to have 240 volts. It's going to have 3 connectors and a ground. They have that capability too. So this company makes both of those, and they're both available on Amazon right now. If you follow the link in the show page or in the description, you can go ahead and reach those. I'm going to show you guys how to wire this next item, which is a receptacle that'll go with this. And I'll show you why this is so important. I actually have my computer up here. I have a little bit of a media file to show you, so bear with me. This is my RV where we have it parked up here. And I just wanted to show you where it connects in. I'm going to pause it a couple times. So you can see here, I have an outdoor connection, But then I have one adapter, I have my surge strip, then I have another connection, and every connection in the Northwest is a place for water and moisture to collect, for it to start getting rotting, oxidation. So this is where it connects in here outside in my front yard. And then you can see that this never quite closes. This is an outside GFI outlet. And because of the size of these adapters, it never quite closes. So that's the beauty, and what excites me about this is what I want to do is be able to put on a new connector on that post right there. And this is what I wanted to show you. So my RV has been drawing a ton of power, running heaters in it to keep it from freezing in the winter. And look at the corrosion on those terminals. So the corrosion increases the resistance and makes it harder for the electricity to go through, which increases the amperage draw, which increases the corrosion. So you end up with this cycle. And that's why it's so important to talk about the next product, which we're going to do. And I'm going to be replacing the connector on the end of my RV, that one that we're showing you here that's all corroded. I found a brand new one. So I'm going to be replacing that because I don't want to have a fire. This could create a fire if it's not set up right. So we're going to go through on how you would make the plug side. This is the receptacle that we just saw earlier. This is how you would properly wire the plug side of a TT30 outlet. So I'm going to take a quick look here in the chat, make sure I didn't miss anybody or put anybody to sleep. Yeah, Green says, interesting, running a fridge and charging would depend on the charging rate on our prior ones. But it would actually, most fridges only use about 50 watts. They're very, very low. And so running a generator could charge and do all of that at the same time. So that was a question from Randy he was following up on. Yeah, you can absolutely do pass-through charging on it, which is pretty slick. So very good. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the top-down camera. So this is from Cori, and this is a plug receptacle for the TT30 standard. Now we're going to set this up, but I'm actually going to use the larger cable that comes off of my RV, but I can't do that in studio. So if you want to know how to wire this, I'm going to show you now. Obviously, use an approved licensed electrician if your state requires it. Mine does not. If you're doing a like-for-like plug replacement, where I live, you are completely allowed to do this. I'm just double checking that I need to take off the remaining items here. So there's a gasket here at the end. I'm just double checking. Oh, yeah, that's the one I didn't need to take off. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know what's funny about this one is those connectors are so small when you use our next product up here. So this is from Scepter, their little screwdriver. Yeah, that's a drawback on this unit, but they try to make it super compact. So I'm really having to put some strain on these little tiny connectors. And I don't know how deep these will have to go. I'm guessing they're not that deep because they don't necessarily have to go that far out. This is funny because my camera over here is jiggling all over because I'm shaking the desk as I do these screws. But we're on the top-down camera, so it's not shaking the overhead camera because it's mounted to the ceiling. Notice that. So get these unloaded here. There's two more at the top, and then this should come apart. And hopefully these aren't as tight to get to. So this is my project for the weekend. I think we're actually going to be moving the RV down too because we need to run a couple more. We need to have 2 heaters going. We've got food out there. We've got guests that love to stay in our RV. It's kind of like our guest house, if we will, because this is my little starter house was not super big. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. So this is the exact process that I'm going to do outside in the cold this weekend. But I'm showing it to you guys now. So if you're not really sure how to connect an RV connector up here, they're really super easy. The cord on my RV is like 35 feet long, so I'm not worried about the cord at all. You can cut off 6 inches, 8 inches of it, and you won't hurt anything. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and that's how it opens here. So now these are labeled really small. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them, but they are actually labeled white and black and green, so you could actually see which ones to do. So now if I bring that other cable in, so it looks like I did cut the right amount of this one off. So you would take your connectors out here and you would run your green here, your white over here, and your black over here. Once you've done all that, and again, run it through the gland first, there's this hold down, which is going to go here, and it's going to hold that waterproof connector in. And then you put it all back together. Now, I'm not doing that here now, so that's just what you would do. You put it all back together and close it back up. And when it's closed, the pressure is being put on by the casing to hold these firm and tight. So if you're starting to see anything that looks like this on your connector, by the way, that means it's time. And I think I can play a little bit further and get you a little closer even maybe. I don't think it's going to let me get any closer, but yeah, if you start to see any sort of signs of heat, that this has been getting overheated, that can be super dangerous on an RV, and it can be a sign that there could be a fire coming up. So that's something that you want to look at. I'm going to open up one more product here live on the show, and that'll be the show for today. And then we'll talk about what's coming up. We got another neat set of products coming later this week. I'll kind of foreshadow what we've got, and we'll go from there. So just taking a look at the chat. No questions in the chat. Okay, the last product for today is also an RV product, but it's actually a safety product here. And this is for the winter when my RV steps get frozen with snow. And this might be good for you, American, because you also do this. This is a set of reflective, non-skid RV steps. They're universal, so they'll fit on pretty much any RV. Now, I had some problems because I have the fold down, the MoRide steps that tilt down. They don't fold out. But this, if you can wrap around your step, this kit is designed to connect underneath on the bottom of your RV step. And we're going to go take a look at the pictures. But super easy to install, and it's springed. So it works universally with really any kind of step. And what you're going to get is this is going to be a cover that now gives you a non-skid surface and a very durable surface, which doesn't come with most RVs. They wear out. And so you can use this to keep your feet clean. My wife is going to love this because I'm always coming in with dirty, muddy feet. So you can wipe your feet off on this. It does have reflection too. So at night, if you're walking up to your RV, you're going to be able to see that. We're going to hit the Amazon show page just because I can show you the pictures that they have much easier. And so these are the steps here and the step covers. It looks like they were able to attach them to the MoRide by going through the middle. So I will try to attach these to mine, and we're going to come back and see how they look. So that's it with the RV steps, but it works on both kinds. The fold out provides increased safety at night. There's the size. They have up to 25 inches wide as well, if you want to get the different model here. Night reflection, thick 1.4 centimeter thickness, and there's the pictures of it in use. It also works with the fold out. So the double layers on top, it uses a spring. So the installation is just going to be a couple minutes here. And it says the cleaning is spraying them off and it dries in the sun. So my wife's going to like that. So I will try getting those installed for you guys. But again, I wanted to thank the company for a fair and honest review. Sending these out, sorry, for a fair and honest review. This is from MyFamily, is the company name. And if you did want to pick them up, they are on Black Friday sale right now. They are looking like $23.59 with a 7% coupon. So that brings them, looks like I'm looking at my numbers, to around $21 for a set of step wraps. Now, you can buy them in different sizes and different number of steps. So they've got 2 steps, 3 steps. They have a 23-inch version and an 18-inch version. So they've got all different prices and different models depending on what you have. So that is the show for today, but let's talk about what's coming up. I've got a couple interesting things. I have an $80 gaming monitor coming up on the show. That's going to be on Friday. We're going to do 2 things on Friday. One, I'm going to go deal hunting with you on Friday morning. So if you're not working, or maybe you are, throw me in a headphone. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go deal hunting because I need to buy a couple things myself. So I'm going to go looking at PC parts and monitors and other cool things with you guys that looks interesting on Black Friday. There's already sales going on. I know Scepter is doing crazy deals right now on their monitors. They've been doing it all week. There's also deals coming from Wyze. So I'm going to be doing some work with Wyze. The numbers, save your pennies right now because I cannot believe the pricing. They are giving away the camera and selling the Cam Plus is the only thing I can think of, is because the price on these cameras coming out on Friday, I've seen the numbers. I can't say the numbers, but they are so low. The lowest I've seen them ever on some models. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to play around with some Wyze gear. We'll have some fun with that. I do have to build a PC. I got an order for a PC a couple days ago. A friend of mine was asking what I could do for kind of an upgraded gaming machine. One that I built recently. He wants another now. I actually have all the parts over here to build a Thermaltake Tower 100 with a 12700 in it, and it's going to have a 4060, so we're going to play around with that. I think I'm going to be the only Amazon person or YouTuber doing a live stream on Black Friday building a PC with you. So we'll probably do that in the afternoon. So we'll do deal hunting in the morning. We'll do an afternoon show of doing a PC build. Maybe we'll do it offline. I don't even need to do it on Amazon, so we could do it offline. Maybe we have a beer or some eggnog or whatever your beverage of choice is. But if you want to tune in, make sure that you're followed. So if you're on X, follow me on YouTube. I broadcast to X just to give us a little bit more people some room there. But if you're following me on any of those services, just make sure you're followed and you're subscribed so you can get those alerts when I plan to go live. Hopefully I'll have everything dialed in, and I'll have those 2 invites to you so you can hit the remind button. I'm going to take one last look at the chat. Might want to send a link to my mom. There we go. Yeah, Blind Tech, your folks have RVs. That would be really cool. Would that work? And I just got out of riding ATVs and side-by-sides, taking dirt off the shoes. Yes, it would. Those would work really well for you, Jonathan. Thanks, everybody that tuned in, and I will catch you guys all in the next one. And thanks to all of the product suppliers that sent products from Alpha Tech with our hidden camera over here. If you're looking for something kind of surreptitious to put and get maybe a view of your area, to everybody that provided products here. I can't do the show paying it all out of pocket myself, so it's great that they are able to sponsor and do that and bring you guys these great products. This has been John the Net Guy. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you this Friday on Black Friday. Keep an eye out for those invitations.